If you're looking for authentic, traditional, genuine al pastor tacos, well, look elsewhere. This is my quick weeknight version of what would traditionally involve slow roasting a whole pork shoulder on a trumpo or a charcoal spit, often marinated in chilies and pineapple and served with any number of local traditional salsas. In contrast, this chicken version comes together pretty quickly. Let's start with the salsa. You can use any kind you happen to have on hand, but for these tacos, I like to go with a homemade roasted tomatillo salsa. I have 4 to 5 medium sized fruits here. I'll remove the papery outer layer, then cut into wedges. Next, I have a large white onion. I'll cut that in half and give it a rough chop. I'll do the same with this poblano pepper, as well as one jalapeno, or more if you want to throttle the heat up. Since I am a little baby when it comes to spice, I'm going to leave it at 1. We're going to be roasting these under the broiler, so I want relatively large pieces so we can easily get a nice char on our veg. I also have a few garlic cloves here. I'll remove the skins and leave them whole for now. I have a foil-lined baking sheet ready, and I have my broiler preheating. So I'll toss everything in the pan and give it a heavy coating of olive oil. I'll also make some effort to hide the garlic cloves under the rest of the vegetables to ensure they don't burn. Now in the oven it goes, and we'll let it roast for about 10 minutes under the broiler. 10 minutes later, and you can see we've developed some nice charring. So I will remove everything from the pan and place into some kind of heat-safe vessel, and I'll use my immersion blender to get this as smooth as I want. Though it is proving to be a little difficult given how large these pieces are. You could also do this in a blender, much easier that way, but I'm committed at this point. Another option here would be to simply simmer all the ingredients in a pot with about a quarter cup of water. That would yield a brighter, fresher tasting salsa, but today I'm looking for something darker and more robust. I've got the salsa about as smooth as I like, so I'll put this off to the side so we can start on our al pastor marinade. Into this blender, I'll combine 50 grams of pineapple, fresh or canned will work, 100 grams of orange juice, 25 grams of white wine vinegar, 20 grams of sugar, 20 grams salt, 2 grams oregano, 5 grams of garlic powder, 5 grams cumin, 3 grams coriander, 10 grams of chili powder, 5 grams of paprika, and the secret ingredient, 30 grams of achiote annatto paste. AA paste is made from ground up annatto seeds and has a very distinct, earthy, almost peppery flavor, and it really is the secret for these tacos. If you're having trouble finding it in stores like I did, I recommend ordering it online. You can find this brand on Amazon, but if you can't get your hands on it or just don't want to order it, you can substitute about 10 grams of paprika and the juice of half of a lime. It won't be the same, but it will have a similar effect. I'll blend this until very smooth and set aside while we sort out the chicken. I have a pack of boneless, skinless chicken thighs here. I would not recommend using chicken breast here. Breast meat is too lean and will end up dry and stringy with this cooking method. I'll throw these thighs into a mixing bowl, then I'll pour over the marinade, leaving behind about a quarter cup that we'll use later on. Next, I'll mix this thoroughly to make sure the chicken is well coated on all sides. Now I'll grab another foil-lined baking sheet and lay these thighs out in the middle. Then on the sides, I'll lay out some big chunks of pineapple that I had left over from before. If you're using canned pineapple, I would still recommend spooning some pieces onto the sheet tray. They just won't get the same level of char as the large chunks will, but still very worth it. I've had my oven's broiler preheating for a few minutes, and now I'll load these into the oven, preferably on the highest rack, and I will let these thighs roast for anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes or until they are deeply charred, like this. Now I'll flip these thighs over and give them another 5 to 10 minutes to finish cooking. I'll leave the pineapple where it is since it hasn't yet developed much color. At this point, I'll drop a nonstick fry pan over medium heat and begin lightly toasting some flour tortillas. Corn would be the traditional choice here, but I don't have any corn tortillas. Once warmed through, I'll move these over to a plate covered with foil to keep warm. It's been about 8 minutes and our chicken is looking perfect. The marinade has beautifully charred the chicken, and the natural sugars in the pineapple have caramelized nicely. Now I'll move all this over to a cutting board and give everything a rough chop. I'm looking to end up with chicken and pineapple pieces no more than about an inch wide. That'll be the perfect form factor for our tacos. The last step here is to heat up a skillet with a generous amount of oil, then dump in the chicken and pineapple to fry off some of the excess moisture. After about a minute, I'm going to add the remainder of the al pastor marinade, stir to combine, and let that simmer for a few minutes to give one last punch of flavor to our meat. After a few minutes, the last of the marinade has caramelized, and we're finally ready to assemble our tacos. I'll drop a generous amount of our chicken pineapple filling into this taco. Then I'll sprinkle on some fresco cheese. That's a traditional Mexican melting cheese. If you don't have it or anything similar, you could get away with using mozzarella. Just, I guess, don't let any Mexicans or Italians see you do it. Finally, I'll top with our roasted tomatillo salsa and a dollop of sour cream. This taco is equal parts deep, roasted, salty, umami-y, but also bright and fresh and more than a little sweet from the pineapple. Really, the charred pineapple is the star of the show here, and I highly encourage you to give these a try. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or if you didn't, come yell at me in the comments. That's cool too.